Hi there. Welcome to 30 minutes of my messy day, because it's still a mess here, so I have not taken down the messy. You'll know I've cleaned my room when the little messy note is gone. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Catherine. I live in Canada on the north shore of Lake Ontario in a beautiful little town that I love. And I make journals out of old books. And right now I have been working, feels like forever, on this beautiful little old book, Peg of My Heart. She was published in 1913, and she was falling apart, and definitely they had her ready for the scrap pile or the burn pile or some sad place where old battered books go to be mulchified. And instead she's being beautified, and she's going to be a very pretty journal. Now, I wanted to put a second pocket in today from that wallpaper trim edging. Remember the stuff? If you're old enough, you remember the 80s. I swear all my friends had the wallpaper edging, and some had it around the ceiling, and some had it around they had a chair rail, and then they had the center, it was around the center, and most of them had either ducks or geese walking along with bows and ribbons around their necks. It was the in thing. I never did it, but they certainly enjoyed it and liked it. It was very popular. It was never really my thing. It was mostly in pastels. Dusty Rose, they called it. Was extremely popular. My mom went gaga over it because that's just her signature color. Even though she'll tell you that yellow was her favorite color. If you walked in her house, you knew what her favorite color is. So, I think this time, instead of putting the pocket in a traditional way, we're going to do an uptuck. So, as ever, the pages that I like to have fun in my books before I send them off to their new home is on pages that have printing, so that I can leave the blank pages for the new owner to write or do collaging, or do whatever it is they need to do in their new journal and make it their own. So let's do this. And that way the page becomes useful. Now I'm using 3-in-1 because this is wallpaper, and that glue, I'm concerned, can still be woken up. I don't know, is that the word? Awakened? And so I just thought 3-in-1 is the way to go to make sure I'm giving it a little push there to get it right to the top there. I just worry about that there's glue. So let's put that there. Now we still have a little piece left over. I'm going to fussy cut it and maybe put it down here just to... This little part of the flower got trimmed when I trimmed the pocket to the size I needed. So I will just cut it off. Now, everyone's different, but one thing I find makes fussy cutting a little easier is when I can, I will simply go around to where the sticky outy points are, the furthest out, and then I will get the bulk of what's around the edges out of my way that way. And then go back in and take those out. And I don't know, for me, that seems to work quicker for me. But everyone's got their own little way. And it's one of those things where unless you just keep doing it, see, now I'll go in and separate these two little leaves by almost doing a little triangle. And don't worry if you don't get it perfectly, because that's what your distress ink is for. It's going to cover a multitude of sins, to quote Nancy over at Wishes and Weeds. When you don't get your fussy cutting perfect, get out your distress ink. Don't distress over it. Get out your ink. So I could have left a little white edging. There's a time and a place for the little white edging, and it looks nice. And I do like it, but sometimes I'm craving to fussy cut right to the very edge of whatever the illustration is. And that's what I feel like this time. Now I've got to go in there. That's a big one. Hope you're all doing well. We have a nice sunny day here with a beautiful breeze. Hubby is out doing his running around town because as I tape, it's Saturday. So he had to get some pieces of wood cut. He doesn't have a saw or anything like that. Not an electrical table saw. And that's a good thing. He's got many talents, but we leave the carpentry up to the carpenter in the family. We leave the electricity up to the electrician in the family. We didn't get a plumber in the family. I'd like a plumber. Maybe we can convince a grandchild to become a plumber. That would be fantastic. Then we'd be set. So what I'm doing is, there's still a little background in between those flowers, and I'm just going in with this tiny brush, a little makeup brush, and just darkening it a bit so that it matches the color of that paper. And hopefully it's not as noticeable that those little pieces didn't get that's nice. Just a little something. All right, I'm going to use tweezers. So we've had quite a wet summer. where we live, which I feel a little guilty about because there's forest fires going on everywhere, and we actually have had more rain than is normal for us, but I'm grateful for it because we certainly had our share of summers where we've had forest fires going everywhere. It's a strange times we live in. Now, I'm just going to put this here. So it rained yesterday, and today is lovely, and then apparently we get more rain tomorrow. There we go. I like that. That's good. So now that means that, here, let's use this. You can tell I was gluing something on the other side of that, but now that will be an uptuck. But it still shows off that this was one of the original pages from the text block. And I like that. I have to remind myself to sometimes do the other side of the page. I tend to want to hog all the presentation. I call this the presentation page because we open our books from right to left, so your eyes immediately are drawn to this side first. And I tend to want to steal them for myself. Alright, you need to stop curling. See, that's the wallpaper in it, but I'm sure once it's closed, it will stop curling. I have been toying with, I have another piece of this lace. I sewed this to the top of some Edith, and I've been toying with putting this on the back, but you know what, I think it's too heavy and I don't think it's needed. That's not ugly, and I think this would be put to better use as a tab sticking out somewhere. Now, something that you have to keep in mind, so I remind myself because, you know, I forget things, is because I put in permanent ties into Miss Peg, I need to be careful to try to avoid putting any tabs in the center of this book. So if I put that right there, do you see what's going to happen? I don't mind that the lace gets crumpled a bit when we tie it, but if we keep, oh no, I'm going to pause for a second. We could have a bad situation here. Okay, I'm heartbroken. And it's my own fault, because here I am laughing and giggling over my messy desk, and it's because of my messy desk that I've ruined something. I didn't clean up after using these stickers, and a piece of the sticker, of one of the stickers that I fussy cut, landed right on Peg's face. So I tried to use the hot gun, I don't have a hot gun, but I have a little blow dryer that gets really hot, to see if I could save that piece of old paper. It's 113 years old, and I couldn't. And I can't believe this. And I've lost part of her face right here. And I'm just heartbroken. Now, I think what I'm going to try to do is bring out the artist in me. Here, I'll bring it down so you can see what I've done to her. I'm so sad. You can still see a lot of her pretty little face. We've lost some of her hair and half of her eye. And I realize again, you know, as I always say, it's part of the charm of an old book, but it's also my own foolish fault, and I'm mad at myself over, see, don't clean your desk, and this is what can happen. I am going to see what I can do and hope that the artist in me can just try and give her a little bit of help. And I don't want her to look perfect. That's not the case, but that's just too bright and too upsetting for me to look at. So I'm going to pause and do this off camera. And if I have to, I may have to move her over and put her on the cover. And I don't want to have to, or I may have to leave her as this. I mean, she's already got chunks out of here. She's already missing pieces here. I hadn't, I hadn't sealed this. I sealed the rest because remember I used watercolor to darken up some of the embossed, but I didn't seal here. I was worried about how this old paper would take it, and I guess I should have, but I think that wouldn't have prevented this damage that happened. Okay, I can't keep stewing about it. I'm going to work on it and see what I can do about it. So, give me a moment. Okay, so I think I've saved it to my satisfaction. Boy, that was, there was a lesson learned. It's not so much fun laughing about having a messy desk when you ruin a journal that's coming along so pretty, and didn't have to be that way. So I brought you along, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let me show you actually what I was able to find, what the original cover looked like. And that's what she looked like, the original one. That one's in better condition, obviously, except for the damage that was done here. But you can see how pretty she was. There's a little pink flower up on the hat. That's completely missing off mine. And all the detail in her little dog, and how beautiful those big brown eyes are. And there I have that big blotch of white on half of her face, and mine had turned, my copy had turned mostly green. I don't know whether it was the ink from the cover seeping through the paper, I'm not sure, but I think I saved it to the quality of how bad the original picture already looked. So that was to my advantage, that the picture on my book was already in horrible condition. So all I had to do was try and restore that big missing chunk to horrible condition. Rather than getting out my palette of paints, I got out my watercolor pencils. I quickly realized that because the the picture is mostly turned quite greenish. I'll never understand why, but maybe there was water damage or something originally to it that I don't know about. Anyhow, I originally thought I was either going to be working with a dark brown, maybe even a black. Then I quickly realized I needed to put down a base of ink because it was white paper showing through, and I needed to at least get the background back up to the to this color here, and then go in and just try and put a mottled, old-looking version of what I had, and I think we did it. I think I'm happy with that. And then I took a chance and I did go ahead and seal it. And if you're wondering how to do that, you simply have to tuck your ties in underneath and tuck that tie in underneath. If you're like me, you have a box for sealing and aerosol gluing. So I keep that in the other room because I find them, I like Mod Podge aerosol sealant. So, and I get that question every time, so let me show you right now. It looks like your bottles of Mod Podge, but it's in an aerosol can, like your good old hairspray. And actually, hairspray works as a sealant, if you ever wondered. But I like the Mod Podge matte. The label looks like this on a can of aerosol, and that's the sealant I prefer. I've tried a whole bunch of them. That's the one that I kept coming back to, and now I just don't even try anymore. So you can still see, if I hold it in the light, the rough area. There's no gloss to it that got torn off by my foolish mishandling of stickers, fussy cutting stickers, and not getting rid of the garbage and not cleaning my desk. But I think we saved it because I think I was able to brighten her eyes up a bit. She's certainly not to the quality of the book. And that book there, although it's sold, I forget what page I pulled that up from, what antique bookseller. That was also a first edition. That beautiful picture was a first edition. So someone took better care than where this poor little baby ended up. Who knows what box in a basement or a garage she spent how many years in. But I brightened up her eyes a little bit more, and the little doggy. I darkened up her jacket a little bit more, and I darkened up the skin here on her neckline a little bit more, so that it's a little bit more evident that she's got a collar on her dress. I attempted to add a bit of peachy pink up here, where in the original illustration there is there appears to be some kind of a silk flower behind. This is a green ribbon, and this paper just wasn't going to allow me to do it. It didn't want dry pencils. It didn't want any kind of wet paint whatsoever. That was just, I quickly had to dry it if I tried to work on it with wet paint, and which is why I got out my watercolor pencils instead. And so now I'm not so heartbroken. At first I was thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? It couldn't have been here, couldn't have been here. No, her face. Oh my goodness, that was... I shouldn't get so attached to these books, but You do. Or at least I do. And I didn't want to have to cover up, even as damaged and as old as that picture is. I had fallen in love with it. So let's do a tiny little tidy up. Let's get this wet brush off. It's already been washed, so we'll put it away. And, oh, sorry, I'm banging that around. I was using this to pick up when I tried to brighten up that flower a bit. I'm an amateur. I'm not a professional. So I'm sure there are many of you out there that were probably yelling at your screen saying, Catherine, don't do that, do this, do this, do this. And you know what? I did the best I could with the skills I've got and the knowledge that I have. And I have to remind myself, the whole point of it all is it's a junk journal, and we're saving an old book that would have gone to the recycle center and turned back into pulp and turned back into something else. So there she is, and I think she looks okay. And she has since been sealed. I did end up just resealing the whole front and back cover. So, I'm okay. Hope you are too. Hope you survived that. I almost cried on screen. Boy, oh boy. Now I've got to decide. I need to go through my book. I just started working and have lost count on what signatures have pockets and how many, and what signatures still need pockets and how many. Maybe we'll do that before I go. So let me find her page. There she is. Okay, so pockets. See, I haven't even kept track. You can see here originally I thought I was going to do 9 signatures, and I opted for 7, and I'm happy with 7. So let's see how many pockets we have in the first signature. If any. Do I have any pocket? 1. 1. No, I just have 1 pocket in the first signature. Second signature. Let's see. 1. I should have been counting pages while I was doing it. Oh well. So there's 1 pocket in the second signature. Third signature. How many pockets have we got? None. Okay, so I need to do some pockets in the third signature. Fourth signature, there's 1 pocket. I'll never understand why I choose what I choose. Mind you, I haven't been in here much this week. I'm finally getting things organized. I've just put that in there to remember that I want this in the book. So that's not where it's going to end up. I just don't want to leave it in the basket. Okay, so fourth signature has 1 pocket. July with all my doctor's appointments, hence me taking a bit of time off. They didn't go as well as I had hoped. So my medication is not. Now I consider this in away pockets because those are 2 tuck spots in the 5th. So that's as good as a pocket because it holds paper, right? Anyhow, my appointments didn't go as well as I had hoped. Now that's a tuck spot, in case you were wondering. So that's in the 5th. So 5th's winning the derby here right now. The medication that works for 9 out of 10 women that go on this medication, it works. The only way to help people understand how this sort of works, imagine a diabetic, type 2 diabetes. Metformin is just about the go-to medication for if you've got type 2 diabetes. Most of them are on metformin, and it works very well for most of them and helps keep it under control. The diabetes doesn't go away. The whole idea behind it is to keep it under control, and then to watch your diet and do all the things you need to do to keep your diabetes under control. And for me, it's my liver, to watch what I'm eating and find the right medication to keep it under control so this autoimmune disease doesn't kill my liver. And the first medication, the go-to medication, is a medication called Ursadil or Ursadil, whoever, depending on who you talk to. I've heard my doctors refer to it both ways. And for 9 out of 10 women, does the trick. The numbers come down, they just keep taking it, and it slows down. It doesn't stop it. Oh, somebody's home. It's my sweetie pie, home with groceries. I keep telling you, I lucked out with that, man. Anyhow, for me, my numbers are still going up. So, so it's time to try a different medication to see if we can get my blood work numbers down to stop the damage that my body is trying to do to my liver, which is just so bizarre. And everyone who, first of all, most people have never heard of this disease. And then they'll say, I didn't know that you were, you know, how much alcohol do you drink? They associate it with alcohol. It has nothing to do with alcohol. Mormons can get this disease. People who have never had a drink in their life can get this disease. It has nothing to do with alcohol. It has everything to do with, for some bizarre reason, your body decides, wow, let's kill the liver. And you can't live without your liver. So now I'm waiting. They're going to put me onto a new medication, but it takes a while to get it because it's still partially in a test stage. There are 2 separate stages to PBC, primary biliary cholangitis, if you felt like looking it up. And within those 2 stages, there's early stage, late stage. Within those 2 stages are 4 subsections. And you move through them, early stage, and then you're into the serious stage. And right now, I'm very, very fortunate. I am, depending on which of my doctors you talk to, I'm in between a 1 and a 2 of early stage. And this new medication has been approved in most countries around the world, and definitely in Canada where I live, for early stage. They're still waiting for approval to use it in the second stage. This is cirrhosis. This is where your liver has finally, this early stage, your numbers can fluctuate and very little damage done to your liver. And if you can keep your numbers in here, that's why you can, older ladies such as me, can live a long, long time if you can keep your numbers in here. But if they keep creeping up, or if your medication isn't working, that's when you get up into cirrhosis, and there's no going back. Once you're in cirrhosis, then it goes up from 1, 2, 3. Once you're in 3 and 4, that's liver transplant stage, or you know, hopefully if you qualify. So we're nowhere near that, but we want to stay away from that. So I'm waiting on this new test drug to see if it will keep my numbers down low. In the meantime, all it's doing is preventing liver scarring. It doesn't do anything to prevent the symptoms of the pain and the swelling of the legs and the exhaustion and the sleepiness and all that stuff, all that fun stuff that it comes along with it. So that's where I've been, dealing with that and getting this medication and jumping through all the paperwork hoops for it. Wowee. And finding a pharmacy. A lot of pharmacies don't want to deal with this medication because of the paperwork involved with it. I fortunately found a pharmacy, and it's actually linked through our hospital. And she's been so wonderful, and she's actually quite fascinated. Again, she said, I've never heard of this disease before. And I said, yeah, join the club. And she's been a wonderful, wonderful help. She's even offered to blister pack all my pills for me because I take a lot of pills. And thank goodness for benefits, because I probably take about $10,000 worth of medication a month. And up here in Canada, we have universal health care, which means if you go to the hospital and you can have a heart transplant, you can have years and years of cancer care, or you know, a transplant of the actual liver transplant. As long as you're in hospital, you'll never see a bill. But our universal health care does not cover prescriptions for at home. If you're in the hospital, it covers your prescriptions. It doesn't cover your prescriptions for at home, and it doesn't cover things like eyeglasses or dental care. Only for certain people if you meet certain financial criteria. So in other words, we still need benefits up here. There's certain things we need benefits for. Thank goodness we have them. And our benefits cover my medications. So yay for that. So now I'm waiting. They say it could take another month before I even get a pill in my mouth. So you'll hear the hooting and hollering when that happens. So that's just to sort of bring you up to speed on what's going on in my life with my wonderful liver that's acting up. Okay, number 6. Let's see if we've got, there's Charlotte Bronte, looking very serious. Alrighty. So that's had a lot on my mind with that, and just the exhaustion. There's a pocket, so 1. So 1 pocket in 6, and then here's 7. So my numbers are going up. The key is to find the medication that will get my numbers to go down, and then we'll be good. So there's none in 7. So I definitely need at least a pocket in that but I'd like to add a few more tuck spots. I just call them all pockets, but for me a tuck spot counts as a pocket. Anywhere you can hold papers and notes and journaling cards. To me, a pocket, tuck spot, tomatoes, tomatoes. You know what I mean? Anyhow, I've taken up too much time. But I thought I'd catch you up. And right now my goal, so please bear with me, is to do a video a week for now until I'm feeling better and not so sleepy and tired. I don't know whether that'll ever go away, but I'm hoping if they can get things worked out, maybe we'll be able to get that done. So there we go. We saved the day, I think, quite well. Poor little Miss Peg's face that got torn half off. And I caught you up to date on what's going on with my liver that is not behaving itself. And yeah. Otherwise, I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. I'm so tired all the time. So that, if you're wondering where is she, well, I'm probably on the couch. Actually, what I've been doing is I can't believe it. I'm one of those few people that really didn't watch Grey's Anatomy. And when I heard that they got renewed for another season and it will be the longest running drama in the history of television, apparently it's been renewed for next year, so it'll be 21 years. I thought, I got 20 years of Grey's Anatomy to catch up on, and I'm doing really well. I think I'm in like season 11 now. That's where I've been. Anyhow, I'm off. Have a great rest of your weekend. That's my plan. We're going to go see some grandbabies tomorrow, and that's always good for cheerfulness, watching them play and hoot and holler and doing all those wonderful fun things that grandbabies like to do. And I'll probably see you at some point next week. Take care. Bye.